All right, we're going to start digging into the Deluge. I'm currently running the community firmware Beethoven on it. This is mostly just going to be me digging into the various features and whatnot. If you stumble on this video looking for a more structured tutorial, then I'll put a link to a pretty great one um, in the video description. But this is mostly going to be video notes for myself, and if other folks find that useful, then great. So starting off, we're going to start with the synth navigation, I guess, and then we'll dig into the engines and sequencers or sequencer later on in other videos. I'm going to try to keep these videos pretty short though. So when we first power it on, we're looking at a clip with the synth loaded. We can scroll through the different presets with our select knob, or search for a preset with load and then synth. So this just brings up a list that we can scroll through, or you can use the keyboard to type out what you're looking for and then just select. To create an init patch, we're going to do Shift Synth. So that gives us a blank patch to start off with. If we want to save, then we do Save Synth. So we can just, again, use the keyboard that appears on our pad grid here to type in a name for the synth. We can also type in the name for a folder if we want to keep it in a folder, and instead of just pressing save, I'll hold save, get an option to create a folder, and then I can type in the name for the synth preset itself. Hit save, and now I've got a new patch called synth saved in a folder that's called folder to keep stuff organized. To actually play the synth, so we're looking at a sequencer view right now. We're going to dig into a sequencer in future videos. So we can audition with these side pads, but we're going to hit the keyboard button, and now this pad grid is a keyboard for us. We can scroll through the note range vertically or horizontally. We can use these sidebars for a variety of different things. By default, the blue one is essentially a mod wheel. It's not linked to anything right now, but we can essentially move up and down it just like it's a mod wheel. The red one is velocity, so if I have velocity tied into any other mod destinations, then I can mess with that here, since the pads themselves are not velocity sensitive. You can also change what these columns do by holding the top pad and scrolling. So green is chords, so I can pick a chord to play by pressing, and then it'll play that chord on whatever root note. We can keep going through. We have chord memory, where I can play a chord and then store it in one of the pads if I wanted to make or preset a chord progression or something. And then we've got scale, so we can change what scale is being displayed on the pads. We can also change that with shift scale and just cycle through all the different scales that are preloaded in there, which you can also do by holding scale and pressing the select knob if, say, only left hand is free. You can change the root note of the scale by holding scale and turning the select knob. So that doesn't silence all these pads that are not illuminated, so which is kind of nice because you can still do sort of modal shifts without having to change the scale, but it at least highlights so you know kind of where you're at on the keyboard. As far as editing the actual parameters goes, so we can menu dive with our knob here. So this is press and turn you can just scroll through whatever, select, menu dive, do whatever you need to do. But we also have the pad grid is organized sort of like a synth panel, right? So you've got an oscillator section here. For the FM synth, you've got FM modulation parameters here. You've got your envelopes and your LFOs and mod sources and all that stuff. And to access any of that, so like if I wanted to access envelope 1's release stage, just shift and press the pad, and then it takes me into that, and I can adjust that with the mod wheel. Back out of that, we also have quick access to common stuff up here. So if I press this button, this top knob will be our level, and the bottom knob will be panning. Then we can switch over. We've got filter, so cutoff, and resonance. You can also press the knob, so if we turn it, we're adjusting the cutoff. But if I press it, I can switch between low pass, high pass, EQ. If I press this bottom one, it'll cycle through the different filter models that they have. And then there's a bunch of other common parameters. We've got some slots here for custom links for parameters. So if I wanted, let's just use that envelope 1's release again. So I just have to navigate to that either with the menu or using the pad shortcut, and then hit learn and turn the knob that I want to have access to that. So there's only three slots for custom, but you can technically do that same thing, and all of these are custom. They just default to what they're labeled. So so that's pretty much it as far as actually being able to get in and modify stuff and start building sounds. So I'm gonna leave that here for this video, and then we'll start digging into the actual engine and listen to the oscillators and exploring the filters and all that stuff in future videos. So till next time.